Good evening, guys. So I'm out here on my porch. It's dark out. Trying to get some video time in. Basically tonight what I'm going to do is I've kind of experimented a little bit on creating another type of shore fire that burns a little bit longer, a little easier to ignite. And my goal tonight is to kind of share that with you, share what I've come up with, and how to put it together. So give me just a second. I'm going to switch the camera to kind of show my workstation, and we'll go from there. So give me just a second. Alright, so here's my setup. This is what I got. I got a standard cotton ball, some hand sanitizer, petroleum jelly, and a can of liquid candle wax. I just took a big candle that had extra wax on it that needed to be cut off anyways, broke it down, heated it up. I got it so hot that this has been sitting for probably 20 minutes and it just barely has a layer of wax over the top, so I should be okay on that within the next few minutes. And then I just have some standard jute twine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cotton ball and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it fairly tight with this jute twine. And try to get it as close to a ball as possible. And just kind of keep wrapping it. Until I'm fairly happy with the shape. I'm not too concerned with it being real small or real large. I think the more compact, the better it's actually going to burn. And then I'm just going to create a loop here, kind of tie it off a little bit. And now for dipping it in the candle wax, I actually prefer to have a longer string on it, and I'll cut that off later. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the petroleum jelly. It's a little bit messier, but I think it does better in the wax. And then I'm just going to coat the outside of this really good. And the reason why I'm only going to coat the outside is that if I'm in a situation where I don't have a match, I can use my knife, I can split it open, fluff the inside, and throw a spark onto it, and that should light just fine. Now, kind of wipe my hand off here. I want to dip it into this wax here. And good and coat it all the way around. Now this isn't going to be very pretty, but it will do the trick. Actually, I think that's even better than the last one I had, since the wax has cooled a little bit. If you want, you can probably form it to make it all nice and neat and pretty and round. But that's going to give it some protection, so that if this thing gets wet, everything on the inside should stay dry. And we'll take my knife here. Go ahead and cut that jute twine. Make it as long as you want, as small as you want. Trying to make sure that I have as much wax on here as I can. And that's just not holding very well to that jute twine. We'll pull this off and then just dip this in upside down. And it's not pretty. But survival's not always pretty. It's about function, not always form. So there we go. Got a little bitty white, cherry or ball of fire. So I'm going to let this sit and harden a little bit and go get some water. That way we can test it out in the water, make sure that it lives up to what I'm saying. So give me just a second and we'll let that sit. Alright, so it's been sitting for just a couple minutes, not long at all. It's, for the most part, cooled down. I could probably let it sit for a little bit longer, but I got a cup of water here, a glass of water. I'm just going to dip it really good. Make sure it's good and soaked. Sorry, that was probably loud. I'm going to set it right here on top of my canteen. Stove. Single match. I'm going to get my phone out here so I can time this. So we got all zeros there. Oh, my match is going out. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to light it. And once it's this, I'm just going to light this wick area here. And once it's good and lit, I'm probably going to go ahead and fast forward this so that we don't have to sit here. Alright, so you see the wick is lit. I'm going to hit start, let it go, and we'll see how long this thing burns. So at this point here, it's actually finished the wick and is now finally getting into the actual cotton ball. May have too much wax on it. The last time I did this, I had a really thin coat of wax because the wax was extremely hot, and it burned with probably a 3 to 4 inch flame on it. that lasted 10 minutes. So this has considerably a lot more wax, and we'll see how long this one burns. Right now, we're at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. bit of flame died. And see if we can get a good reading on here. It's 14 minutes and 50 seconds with flame. Now what you see right now is glowing from the jute twine. So I actually still have red hot embers from the jute twine. Now if I break it up, there's a good chance I'm going to lose the embers. But those embers will stay red hot for at least another 2 to 3 minutes. So if you can't get a fire started with that, even in some of the wettest conditions, then I don't know what you're doing wrong, but there's definitely something wrong there. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit longer, kind of maybe get reset up here, and I'll be right back. Right now, I'm sitting at just over 18 minutes, and still have red hot embers in there. So I'm going to call it 14 and a half to 15 minutes on the flame itself, give or take how much Vaseline, how much wax you put on it. And then at least another 3 to 4 minutes of embers that you can use off of just one of these homemade Surefire cotton balls. Really inexpensive to make. You're looking at 100 cotton balls for $1, and then a roll of jute twine, which is $4 or $5, comes in several hundreds of feet. Use about 6 inches of it, so again, pennies at that. And then some old candle wax that I had left over from a candle that needed to be cut down anyways. So all in all, 2-3 pennies for, we'll say, 15 minutes of good fire. You can't beat that. And you've seen it here. It takes just seconds to make, and it lasts a long time. So if I can do it, I'm sure anyone else out there can do it just as easily. So here's to my endeavor to find new and improved ways to survive out in the wilderness, whether it is camping or hopefully not, but in the situation of actual needing to survive. There's one way to make it just hopefully that much easier. Preparation is the key to success for everything. So 15 minutes making 10 of these, throwing them in your backpack, you got 15 fires guaranteed. As long as you can make sure you have the firewood, there's no reason why you can't have fire. So anyways, here signing off on another video. Please subscribe. I would appreciate any comments that you do have. And I look forward to the next one. Thanks.